This morning started just like any other day. Ghyn was sitting on the docks of Halrax, pondering the Corsairs of Umber update. Where are all my instances? Where are all my dailies? Why can I only quest and do nothing else? Why aren't we getting any news? Why aren't we getting any updates? What is going on? Why won't they let us know when we get content? Why is the horse in Rivendell still getting doused with water all the time? Why won't they scale Tower of Orthanc? Why does it feel like I'm in Italy or Greece? Why do I spend every morning like this, talking to myself like an idiot? What is wrong with me? I really wish we could get some updates and some news about when our content is finally coming. Because if I have to keep spending every morning like this, talking to myself, I will surely go crazy. Wait, there is news? Oh my god! One of my biggest complaints about this update was the lack of communication and us as players not really knowing when our content will arrive. Sure, we did get the expansion released with all the quests and all that usual stuff, but there was a severe lack of stuff to do at the endgame, and there was no communication telling us when we will get more. But as of yesterday, this has finally changed. Cordovan did post on the forums, and I'm really happy to see this. Corsairs of Umbar future release plans. This is exactly what we need, and even if people aren't happy with the release plans, at least we know where we stand and what is coming and when it is coming. Now that Corsairs of Umbar has been released, we want to take some time to outline our upcoming content release plans to provide further repeatable and endgame content to this region. This content patch will add to and be part of the Corsairs of Umbar release. Here's what's in store. Now, before we look even further, this honestly should have arrived on release as soon as the expansion released. This post should have been there telling us that, okay, we don't have all the content yet, but here is when you're gonna get it. So although this is good, this should have been released much sooner in my opinion. But from the introduction in his post, we see that they have plans to provide further repeatable and endgame content to the region. And of course, this content will be included in the Corsairs of Umbar. So if you have the expansion, you will receive this content for free. So here is what they have in store. We have a release expected around December 6th, which will include the following. Looking at the calendar, December 6th is almost 3 weeks away. So quite a long wait before we get this content patch. A lot of people, and me included, would probably hope for something like next week, but instead we will have to wait 2 to 3 weeks until we get this content. So what can we expect from this patch in 2 to 3 weeks? 28 new quests at the Hunter's Expedition Camp in the Cape of Umbar. We will also add a modest number of repeatable quests to this location to contribute to Allegiance gains. So 28 new quests added. And this seems to me like this is quests that they didn't have time to get in before the release, but we're now getting more quests to complete in the Cape of Umbar, which is the last area of the expansion. And we are also getting a modest number of repeatable quests to this location, so you can work towards your allegiance and probably your reputation with Umbar. So 28 new quests for everyone, as well as a modest number of repeatable quests. So probably like between 5 and 15 somewhere would be a modest number. So 28 new quests and more repeatable quests for endgame. Good. I like this. Allegiances will move from a max tier of 10 to 20 with this release, allowing for further purchases along the allegiance border rewards. So on release, the max level of the 2 allegiances in Umbar, the Order of the Eagle and the Ledger's Keepers, they only go to tier 10, but with this update on December 6th, we will be able to progress into level 20, giving us access to even more rewards. So far we have 28 new quests, more repeatables, and extra levels on allegiances. Crafting guilds will become available as well, and the new upgradable items will see their introduction. So as we know, crafting guilds of Umbar did not make it into the release, but with this patch they should be arriving, and we should also get the new upgradable items as well. So this is part of the crafting revamp. Items are going to be upgradable. So for example, if we craft a chest piece, we should be able to upgrade this chest piece to make it stronger for future content. So it will be interesting to see what they can deliver with the crafting guilds and also the upgradable items. Moving on, missions are coming to Umbar Baharbel. Make your way to the Bloody Eagle Tavern in the city of Umbar to complete new missions from Umbari mission givers Maltak and Deshra, taking place in the city of Umbar, the Cape of Umbar, and the Shield Isles. These missions award allegiance tokens for both the Order of the Eagle and the Ledger's Keepers, as well as modest gift of Uri to level up your preferred allegiance. In other words, we are finally getting missions for our allegiances. So with this patch, we should be able to do the missions to earn tokens for our 2 allegiances. And we will also get allegiance rep tokens to level up our allegiance levels. And finally, the Coombe Forester event will return. So we will once again be able to run the Forester event with this patch. And at the very bottom, we get a peek into next year. Looking further out, we expect the instances and new raid to release in the new year. Additionally, allegiances will unlock to level 30 early next year. Thanks for reading. So I want to backtrack real quick and just quickly go through this post and give my opinions. So the release in 2 to 3 weeks, December 6th, will include 28 new quests at the Hunter's Expedition Camp. This is fine. I don't mind getting some more quests to do in the new area. And we will also get a modest number of repeatable quests to this location that will also contribute to allegiance gains. This is good news overall. More quests to do and also more repeatables. There's a severe lack of repeatable currently, so I'm happy to see this note. Allegiance's max level will move from 10 to 20 with this release, and as we saw at the bottom note, it will increase to 30 at the beginning of next year. And with every increase to the allegiances, we should be able to get more and stronger rewards. The crafting guilds is probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most with this patch, to see what the crafting guilds can actually bring us, if the crafting revamp can deliver. And I'm also really interested to see how the new upgradable items will work. The missions that we are getting seems like they are basically for the allegiances. So you should be able to do missions to improve your standing with the allegiances, earning you more rewards. And of course, the Coombe Forester event will return, where you can earn your rewards from that event. And the final note is looking further out. We expect the instances and new raid to release in the new year. Now, honestly, to me, this is a little bit disappointing. The instances and the new raid to release in the new year, meaning that we will probably not see them this year. And that is definitely a long time to go without instances, because we know that we are getting 2 new 3-player instances, 1 6-player instance, and a thrilling new raid. So 1 6-man, 1 raid, and 2 3-mans are coming. And if we have to wait until next year, that will mean that it will be at least 2 months after release until we get our first instances. And that to many people will be disappointing, but I will say this, at least we know when to expect something instead of just being in the dark. So I'm really grateful for this post by Cordovan, giving us some more information. This patch looks like it will bring quite a lot of content. It looks like a solid patch. A little bit disappointing that instances seem like they won't be coming until next year. But let's cross our fingers for at least a 3-man, maybe before Christmas. If they are able to pull that off, that would be really nice. I'm sure players would really appreciate some new instances to run over their Christmas holidays. But once again, good that we're getting more information. This level of communication is very welcome, and I hope to see it more in the future. And I also wanted to suggest something that could be done since we have to wait this long for new instances. And for this, I'm going to go to my Discord server, the Ghyniverse, where I posted this idea. Most people by now do know Onum. Onum is the developer of the game, and he actually posted somewhere in the Discord that the Doom Skirmish will be dropping gold tracery with the next patch. So the very patch we just talked about coming on December 6th should have the Doom Skirmish dropping gold traceries as before. But honestly, there is a really long wait for the next patch. Just look at all these days we have to wait until we get more content, and then even longer until the next year without any instances to run. Why can't we just do something like this that I'm suggesting in this post? I'm basically suggesting that we can add a random gold tracery drop from all our scalable instances. And we can just put a daily lock on all of them. It would give us a lot of content until the 3-mans arrive. And if they also added a small chance to drop the new shards, a lot of people, in my opinion, would be running this content, and it would increase the activity of the game by quite a lot. And I'm not going to read out every 3-man, 6-man, and raid, but just looking at this list, just look at all the content we have that isn't being run. Like, look at all these 3-mans. There's really great content not being run at all because there's no rewards from it. Look at all the 6-mans we could be running. And look at these raids. There's so much good content that if you just add simple rewards, such as my suggestion, people would run a lot of content. People would group, people would do content. They would run instances they find fun, but fun is not enough if there's no reward at all to run them. So at the bottom, I put my pros. The content is already created and working, so they don't have to do any dev work to tune or balance this content. This content is scalable and already in the game, working just fine. We just need some rewards hooked up. I also don't think that people would max out all their gold traceries since it's random anyways, but at least people will have a shot at getting a good tracery running content they find enjoyable. The only dev work that would be needed is to add these items to the last boss loot pool, which is my suggestion, and if they simply added a random gold tracery 100% drop rate to the last boss, and maybe a 5% chance to get a new shard, then I'm sure people would run this a lot. Obviously, I'm saying that they should add it to the last boss, but for raids and stuff, you might have to think about it. But this would give people a reason to log on and run instances. They can group with friends and earn some good rewards. And a lot of this content is very good nostalgia, and some of these instances are really fun and good to play. So just imagine when you log on to LOTRO, you have all of these choices, all these 3-mans, all these 6-mans, and these raids. Instead of them just sitting there in the game, not being run at all, you could just simply add a small reward, such as a gold tracery and a shot at a shard. I'm sure people would be running this a lot, in my opinion. And a good thing about this content is that it's not really super hard, and it's not really super easy as well. So a good mix for all players of the game. So in my opinion, this would be a really nice way to give people some content to run until we get 3-mans. And I believe if this was a thing all the time, regardless of where we're at the expansion, it would help current players gear up their legendary items. It would help returning players gear their legendary items. It would just be good for activity overall for the game. Adding the little shard chance at the end will also give more incentive. If people don't really need more traceries, they can still run for a shot at the shard. And if possible, you could add some other rewards. But I think for now, this would be plenty. I know this is very unlikely to be happening, but I just think it's a shame that we're sitting here without any instances to run when I'm looking at all of these raids, all of these 6-mans, and all of these really good 3-mans just sitting there not being run at all. Instead, why not add some small rewards to all of these and give people something to do? Just my 2 cents on how to make the game better for a while until we get new fresh content. And I'm gonna end the video there. Good to see some communication to the player base from SSG, and hopefully this idea can become reality at some point in the future. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing, as it really helps out the channel. And if you like LOTRO, I would really recommend joining my Discord servers. You can also support me directly through my Ko-fi website. If you're playing or looking to play Lord of the Rings online, there is one place you need to be. The Ghyniverse is a Discord server created for the community of the players of Lord of the Rings Online. The server is getting close to 7,000 members, and in this server you'll find tons of helpful information. There's monthly giveaways, easy access to patch notes, you can keep up with my YouTube videos, my streams. If you're a streamer, you can ask for the streamer role and you can announce your streams in the other stream channel. There are discussion channels for pretty much everything, every class, monster players, But the best thing about this server is probably the gearing resources tab, where you can find anything from trait lines for every class, every build. There are stat goals where you can find out what stats you should aim for on your characters. Really helpful information about drop rates from instances, as well as screenshot from all the new loot that appears in the game. If you enjoy LOTRO, you should definitely consider joining this server, and hopefully I'll see you in Middle Earth. If you were part of the Ghyniverse already, you might have noticed that another tab appeared at the top, the LFF server. This server is a brand new server that I created, the LFF Ghyniverse. In this server, you can select which servers you want to keep up with, and once you select your server, say you select Arkenstone, you will see the LFF, the kinship advertisement, looking for kinship and trade channels, and there's also voice channels if people want to use those. The LFF channel is basically a looking for fellowship channel where people can post if they need players for the runs, and this way people don't have to be logged into the game to see the chat. They can just instead get a notification on their Discord. There's also a kinship advertisement page where kins can post their kinship advertisement and have people join their kins, and you can also post in the looking for kinship chat if you're looking for a kinship, but make sure to take a look in the kinship advertisement first and look through all the kin to find a suitable kin for you. There's also a trade channel if people want to buy or sell stuff that you can use. Hopefully you'll consider joining this server to bring the community even more together, not just in the game, but also outside of the game.